I don't know happy documentaries.
Hello everyone, my name is Shanice.
Hi.
Hi, Shanice.
Oh, why is that moving by itself? Okay. And my presentation is on feminist documentary. So, from one of the readings by Annette Smellick, she said that feminism has had a huge impact on film. And the main concern of feminist film is how women were portrayed and received. Why is it moving by itself? Why is it moving by itself? Okay. Anyway, so they said that she said that the narrative structure of traditional cinema, it establishes a male character as powerful and active, and the female character as passive and powerless. And she's just the object for the male character. And so all the traditional cinema, not feminist cinema, traditional cinema, wanted you to look at the female from the male's point of view only. And so feminist cinema goes against that. The other reading, the political aesthetics of feminist documentary, this talks about how the first feminist documentary films, the majority of the audiences were female, and they showed women and their struggles in trying to get into the working world and trying to get power, and it was just directly showing women trying to get power and trying to enter the world and get rights. The director of my film is Kirby Dick. He's a two-time Emmy Award winning. He's won many awards and he makes a lot of expose type documentaries. His first documentary was The Hunting Ground, which was what we were supposed to watch before Lynn changed it. And The Hunting Ground is about sexual assault on college campuses. He made another film about sexual assault in the Catholic Church. And so along with that theme is my documentary, which is The Invisible War. And that is exposing sexual assault in the US military. It won many awards, like Emmys and a Peabody Award, and it was nominated for an Academy Award. The film focuses on the emotional stories of rape victims and how they struggle to get their life back, and also how they struggle to get justice for their cases in the system of the military, because the military didn't really want to portray themselves as a system that has rape in it. So it was really difficult for the rape victims to get justice. And it also featured high-ranked officials giving some insight on how rape cases are treated in the military. The film argues that its system of justice makes the US military a rapist's playground. And they say this because the commander is where the rape cases have to go. So your rape cases go to the commander, and the commander could be a person who is affiliated with the assailant, has invested a lot of his time into the assailant's career, or could be the assailant himself. And so your rape case is probably not going to get processed, and this leaves the woman as being portrayed as helpless and weak, as they get no justice and they have nowhere to turn to help for their case. Many rape victims find themselves forced to choose between speaking up and keeping their careers, and that's why 8% of military sexual assault cases are prosecuted. So I have a video. One of the things the military like to claim that they were properly educating the trainees about their rape and how to prevent rape. But their way of educating trainees was posters and videos. And their tools for preventing rape were mainly victim blaming. So this is one of the...
And all the money seems to be spent on advertising, which is just rife with victim blaming.
I just want to talk to you.
I'll start with the book. Okay, there we go.
And all the money seems to be spent on advertising, which is just rife with victim blaming.
I just want to talk to you. Oh, are you okay?
No, there's this guy who grabbed me.
Why are you by yourself? Where's your buddy?
I didn't think I needed one.
Sexual assault is preventable. Are you doing your part?
Are you doing your part? So basically what they're saying is that it's your fault that you're being raped. And so that's how they would train their trainees. So another thing that stood out for me in the film is this quote, is they actually did charge me with adultery. I wasn't married, he was. And that.
Charged me with adultery. I wasn't married, he was.
They took me before my lieutenant commander. He says, "Do you think this is funny?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Is this all a joke to you?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "You're the third girl to report rape this week. Are you guys like all in cahoots? Do you think this is a game?"
This clip really stressed to me the theme of helplessness that was placed upon these women, because many of the women in the documentary were shown living their life with post-traumatic stress disorder and having to live their life on drugs, just prescription drugs. There was a scene where one of the ladies, she laid out all her drugs and it covered an entire table this long, because she just has to live her life on just prescription drugs because her life was so affected by this rape. And for all the men here, it isn't just women that the film focuses. It focuses on stories of women, but it doesn't fail to mention men. And there was also one account of men being raped in the military, and that stressed the point of rape is for power and not about sex. Rape is just you want to assert yourself and you want to get power, and so the men were raping men. Kirby's intention was to raise attention to this issue. In an interview, he stated because the military is such a hierarchical system that he wanted to influence the people at the top of the system, the heads and the secretaries and the people at the heads of the departments. And once you affect those people, it's not hard to make change in the system. And so his way of making change was to affect the hierarchical system by affecting the higher people. The reception of this, as it was premiered at Sundance, Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta, that's his picture, if you can see it, that's him. He watched the film and 2 days later he began to make changes. He made sexual assault a higher priority and also established special victims units in all the branches of the military. That's it.